A speaker every time I'm a Toastmaster. I'm not a Toastmaster that often, but this has to be the third time I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Anita M, who's been a Toastmaster since June of last year. Notwithstanding that, she is delivering her 9th speech, a 6 to 8 minute speech from the Competent Communicator Manual, which is the basic manual that Toastmasters use. And her goal is to persuade with power. And her speech is entitled Christmas Magic. It's a personal look at a familiar holiday tradition. Christmas Magic, Anita M.
Thanksgiving week, and the holiday season is upon us. Such a festive time of year, rich and bountiful, with many customs and traditions. Traditions, when done right, lend a certain magic, spirit, and texture to our everyday lives. One of my favorite traditions is sending and receiving Christmas cards. By the way, what did the stamp say to the Christmas card? Stick with me. Go places together. My mailbox is ready to go. And my dining table is a disaster. It's covered with cards, envelopes, stamps, and address books. But when those cards are ready to go, they will help me show my friends and family just how much they're loved. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests, come with me to the mailbox. In part 1, I'll reminisce. In part 2, I'll talk about recent times. And in part 3, I'll ask, really? So part 1, let's reminisce. When I was growing up, Christmas cards were just as much a part of the celebration as the ornaments on the tree. Each December afternoon, the mailman would deposit a batch of hand-addressed envelopes. The spirit of the season had finally arrived. We had no mantelpiece, so our cards were proudly scotch-taped all around the family room. My parents would devote an entire evening to addressing and inscribing their own sincere batch of greetings. I recall just 3 main channels on the TV, and I watched The Grinch, the animated Grinch, and The Little Drummer Boy, amongst others, while feasting on homemade Christmas cookies drizzled with almond icing. Well, let's check the mailbox. How about that? Why, it's a card from my Aunt Sally. Her penmanship is so beautiful. It belongs on a tapestry. And the stamp, it's a Charlie Brown stamp. And it perfectly adorns the cherry red envelope. Enough of reminiscing. Part 2, recent times. I've noticed recently, or in recent years, that there are fewer and fewer greetings in my mailbox. And to make matters worse, I have relatives who don't send any cards at all. How because a person is insensitive and antisocial doesn't mean he can't change his ways. Remember Ebenezer Scrooge? He changed dramatically. And I guess I would too if I had ghosts stalking me. So let's see what's in this envelope. What a lovely card. I can display it in my living room. I think handwritten notes say it the best. But I think there's more. Get in the spirit? Part 3. Really? Something else I've noticed. Do people really believe that an email or a text has the same value as a handwritten greeting card? Something that you can hold or admire on your bookshelf. Really? Really? I don't see people printing out their Facebook posts to display on their refrigerator. Not at all. Think old school. Use a real life stamp. Lick the tasty envelope seal. Address it with a ballpoint pen. And give the recipient your holiday best. Despite the decline in greeting cards in recent years, over 1.9 billion cards were sent in the United States alone in 2005. For those receiving holiday wishes, that card can make the day. And for those sending greetings, it's a chance to spread the holiday cheer. Oh my. But what about you? Will you carry on the holiday greeting card tradition? Remember, traditions, when done right, lend a certain magic, spirit, and texture to our everyday lives. Will you send a card and cheer someone up? I say go ahead. Make someone's day. Remember what they said about old Ebenezer Scrooge. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well. If any man alive possessed the knowledge, may that be truly said of us. Mr. Toastmaster.